Welcome to the realm of astrology, Aries. This is your monthly horoscope for the month of July 2021. But before we begin, I would like to let you know that I do daily video horoscopes that I post on my YouTube channel every single day. I do weekly video horoscopes that I post every week on my YouTube channel. And I also do monthly horoscopes, both the general overview as well as according to your sun or rising sign, and those are on my YouTube channel as well. And the other thing is, I do request you to hit the subscribe button. All right. So before we get into the month of July, I want to mention that we had a powerful new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Gemini on June 10th last month, and we are still in that energy. And that new beginning for you, Aries, was in matters connected to your immediate environment, to your siblings, to your thinking, to how you process things, to how you communicate. There's a new beginning in this area of your life. And as we enter the month of July, we are still in that lunar cycle. We are still in that beginning. And the second thing I want to let you know, Aries, is that as we enter July, a lot of the planets are retrograde. Pluto is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde. And what this means is that retrograde is a period of review and reprocessing. And it's also a time period where we receive the rewards for the work that we put in. And the energy seems a little bit slower in terms of forward movement, in terms of taking direct action, while a lot of planets are in retrograde, as they are as we enter the month of July. That being said, let's talk about the first important event for you, Aries, in the month of July. It happens on July 9th. Now, this can vary depending on where you are at in the world, but overall, generally speaking, it happens on July 9th. And this is the new moon in Cancer. And for you, Aries, this happens in your fourth house. Right here, you can see on the chart. And what is a new moon? A new moon is when the sun and the moon come together. It's going to happen, Aries, in your fourth house, and it's going to happen at 18 degrees of Cancer. So there's still time on this chart. The moon and the sun are going to conjunct. And the new moon is the darkest night of the month. It's a new beginning. It's the point where we seed things, where we sow the seeds for the rewards that we will reap in the future. Now, this beginning for you is happening in your fourth house, as you can see on the chart, your fourth house, which is the house of your deepest emotions, your family, your foundations, where you come from, your ancestors. It's even matters associated with real estate and property. It's the home that you live in. So there's a new beginning of sorts in this area of your life, Aries. And this beginning is unlike a new moon in Cancer that's been happening for the past 2 years. We have a new moon in Cancer every year, right? But what makes this new moon in Cancer special is that we don't have Saturn in Capricorn. Capricorn is the opposite sign of Cancer. So Saturn since 2017 has been in the sign of Capricorn and transiting this part of your chart. And what that means is every time we had a new moon in Cancer, it was being opposed by Saturn. And Saturn energy is difficult. It feels challenging. It demands hard work. It demands discipline. So every time we had a new moon, which also was an eclipse, because the nodes were in Cancer and Capricorn until May of 2020 as well. So we had the nodes in Capricorn and Cancer. We had Saturn in Capricorn, the opposite sign of Cancer, which meant that every new moon in Cancer was an eclipse, and that too a difficult one. So now the energy is much lighter. We don't have Saturn in Capricorn opposing the new moon. The nodes have shifted signs as well. So this new moon in Cancer will feel different. It will feel better. It will feel lighter. It won't feel like we really have to work hard. And the next important thing I want to mention, speaking of eclipses, is that we had a lot of eclipses in the Cancer Capricorn axis starting in 2019 up to 2020 as well. And eclipse energy can stay with us for a long, long time. So we have been carrying that eclipse energy since 2019. I can remember as far back as July of 2019, July of 2019. I think there were eclipses in Cancer Capricorn before that as well. But at least July of 2019, those eclipses we've been carrying with us till April of 2021. And from April of 2021, we started to release those eclipse energies. So the important thing is that this new moon is without the eclipse energies as well. The eclipses that happen in Cancer and Capricorn, and that were difficult. So this is a new beginning in your emotions, in your home, in your family, in your foundations, in where you come from. And that happens on July 9th. Now the second thing happens on July 11th for you, Aries, and it's that Mercury is going to change signs. I'll point that out on the chart for you. Mercury has entered your 4th house. It's entered the sign of Cancer. It has been transiting your 3rd house. It retrograded in your 3rd house as well in the month of June. And when Mercury is in a particular sign, our focus, in a way, our day-to-day focus becomes pertaining to things of that sign. The energy also becomes of the sign that Mercury is in when it comes to our communication, our thinking, our thought process, our immediate environment. So what does this mean? It means that up until now, up until June 11th, Aries, your mind was extremely focused on matters of thinking, of communicating, of your immediate environment. And now with the shift of Mercury leaving your 3rd house and entering your 4th house, your mind is going to be thinking about your home, your family, your foundation, your deepest emotions. Because that's all 4th house. And the way in which you will deal with these matters, think about these matters, communicate about these matters will come from an introspective place, a receptive place, because Mercury is in the sign of Cancer. And then, Aries, on July 15th, Chiron is going to retrograde. Now, Chiron is in your 1st house on the chart. And Chiron is our deepest wound, but it's also how we heal. And it has been transiting your 1st house for quite some time. Chiron takes years to go through a particular sign, so it's a slow transit. And Chiron is in Aries right now, and it is transiting your 1st house, which is the house of Aries, house of Mars. And this means that whatever wounds you have, whatever you're healing, is connected to who you are and your identity. And it could be your leadership as well, Aries. And as Chiron is going to go retrograde, what happens? The direct wounding that Chiron brings with it for us to heal. Yes, Chiron heals in a peculiar way. It heals us by wounding us further. So when Chiron is direct, the healing process is on. And the healing process of Chiron involves getting some wounds, being wounded. And as Chiron goes retrograde, the wounding, the healing will stop. We've done the work. Now it's just the recovery from that healing. Now it's the healing without the wounds. So that happens on 15th July for you. And it's connected to your identity, how you present yourself to the world, how the world sees you, your leadership qualities, your appearances even. So that's half the month done for you, Aries. So 3 important events as we enter the month of July: the new moon in Cancer, Mercury entering your 4th house, and Chiron retrograding in your 1st house. Now we come to July 21st. In July 21st, Venus is going to enter the sign of Virgo, as you can see on the chart, which means from your 5th house, it's coming to your 6th house. Now, Aries, for the next 20-25 days, as long as Venus is in the sign of Virgo, it is going to reinvigorate and give you blessings and gifts connected to your health, connected to your job. It could be connected to things like your day-to-day routine as well that Venus is going to come and bless. And for the next 20-25 days, as Venus makes its way in Virgo through your 6th house Aries, you will also be more receptive to areas of health, your job, your routine, your diet, exercise. So that begins on July 21st for you, Virgo. And on July 22nd, the Sun is going to leave your 4th house and enter your 5th house. And what does this mean? This means that the area of your life that will be illuminated very powerfully for the next 30 days will be your creativity, your hobbies, your children, if you're into sports, then those areas of your life, pleasure. That's going to be illuminated in a powerful way. That's going to be the focus. And for the past 30 days, up until July 22nd, the focus has been your family, has been your deepest emotions, has been your real estate, property, ancestors, foundation, roots, where you come from. And now it's shifting. For the next 30 days, creativity, children, pleasure, hobbies, sports will be the focus, will be illuminated in a powerful way. And then on July 23rd, we have a full moon in Aquarius, Aries. A full moon is when the sun and the moon oppose each other. And it's happening at 1 degree of Aquarius, right here on the chart. The sun and the moon are opposing each other. So as you can see, an opposition usually brings with it tension. So full moon energy is never easy. However, a full moon is the night where we can see clearly because it's the brightest night of the month. And this is the point where we can see clearly all the seeds that we had sown on the new moon in Cancer that happened on July 9th in your 4th house, Aries. So that's the first thing we can see clearly. It's also a completion point of sorts. So something that began for you on July 9th is completing itself now. And the other thing you're completing right now, Aries, goes back to the month of Feb 11, I believe, was the new moon in Aquarius. And that was a new beginning in matters connected to the groups that you belong to, the social circle that you're part of, and even your hopes, goals, and dreams in the future that you're building. There was a new beginning in that area back in Feb for you, Aries. And now something connected to that is coming full circle. It's completing itself. You're able to see that beginning that happened in around Feb 11th more clearly. It's culminating. So that's July 23rd. And then Aries, we have the next important event which happens on July 27th. And Mercury is going to enter the sign of Leo. It's left your 4th house now. And for the next 20-25 days, or even shorter, as Mercury moves through your 5th house, you will be focused mentally on matters associated with love, romance, children, creativity, hobbies, pleasure. That's what your mind will be absorbed with. That's what you'll be thinking about. And then, Aries, on July 28th, Jupiter will begin to retrograde back into your 11th house. It's been retrograding in the sign of Pisces, and now it's going to start retrograding in the sign of Aquarius. And this means that the rewards, the healing, everything associated with your social circle, with your hopes, goals, and dreams, with the future that you worked on in the past year or so will start to show themselves. The lessons you learned in those areas, you'll look back and say, I learned these lessons and I'm better for it and I'm glad I did. And it's also a healing of sorts that comes with Jupiter retrograde. And all this is connected to your social circle, to your hopes, goals, and dreams, to the groups that you belong to, and the future that you're building. And then on July 29th, this is the last event that I'm going to speak about for the month of July, and then we'll pick a card. Let me clean up the chart a little bit, Aries. Okay, there we go. On July 29th, Mars is also going to enter the sign of Virgo. And this means that Mars has been energizing your house of pleasure, romance, creativity, love, children, hobbies, all those things. And now it's going to come into your 6th house on July 29th and energize areas connected to your job, health, day-to-day routine, diet, and exercise. And this happens once in about 2 years. So that's all the transits for the month of July, all the important transits. Now, I haven't gone into the details of each transit, though that I do in the daily videos. So you can watch those if you're interested in getting into the details of what aspects these transits are making and what the energy will look like exactly. Those are in my dailies, so you can watch those on my channel. And I do want to mention something that I should have at the beginning of the video, and that's the full moon in Capricorn that happened on June 24th. And the full moon in Capricorn was really special. And it was special because it brought to life, it revealed the life that started for us in Jan of 2020. And why is that? It's because in Jan of 2020, Saturn and Pluto met up. Now these planets meet up once in 33 to 38 years, and they met up in Jan of 2020, which meant they began a new powerful cycle, a cycle that shifted our reality in some way, shape, or form. And for you, Aries, that was connected to your career. And back on June 24th, 2021, that whole cycle revealed itself completely. Whatever change that happened in Jan of 2020, you were able to look back and say, yeah, that's how my life changed from then. This is the change that took place. I understand now. So as we enter the month of July, you would have understood what changed for you back in Jan of 2020. And this month, with the full moon in Aquarius on July 23rd, you will understand what that new beginning in February was all about, and what the new beginning in December 2020 was all about as well. Because we had a new beginning, a powerful new beginning in December of 2020 as well. And that happened in the sign of Aquarius, 0 degrees of Aquarius, and it was a new beginning for you, Aries, connected to your social circle, the groups that you belong to, your hopes, goals, and dreams in your future. And now you can look clearly. By July 23rd, you'll be able to look back clearly and say, yeah, this is the beginning that happened for me. I see it now. So by the time we end July, a lot of cycles, long-term cycles that started for us last year in January of 2020, December of 2020, Feb of 2021, all these cycles will begin to reveal themselves to you. You'll understand them completely. And that's all I leave you with. If you have any questions or would like me to discuss some particular transit, say Saturn and where it's transiting in your chart, I'd be happy to do that in my next monthly video. But do let me know that you want to watch that kind of stuff, so I'll put it in the monthlies. And now I'll pick a card for you for the month of July, Aries, and then we'll wrap up the reading. Yang. Yang is the masculine energy. It's the go-getting energy. And perhaps this month, in some ways, you will be taking some action and getting things done. Perhaps you will. Although a lot of planets are in retrograde and time for direct action is not very intense as of now. I think Aries, there will be something you will be working towards, taking action towards, having the courage to move towards in the month of July. And this is also fire energy, right? There's a ball of fire. You are a fire sign, Aries, and I think this is connected to your fifth house. Fifth house, because there's a lot of energy in your fifth house in the month of July. Let me clean up the chart. Okay, you guys can't see the chart right now, so I won't show it, but by the end of July, you have Mercury in your fifth house, the Sun in your fifth house, and Mars in your fifth house, all fire energy. So perhaps this is, and fifth house is the house of children, romance, love, creativity, hobbies, pleasure. Perhaps you will be moving towards that with a very direct approach in the month of July, Aries. Yeah. So I think that's what this energy, this card means for you, that you will take some action. I believe the action will be connected to the areas that I just mentioned, and all that stuff is connected to your fifth house: love, romance, children, creativity, pleasure, hobbies. So that's probably the focus, the highlight of the month of July for you, Aries. And I'll wrap up the reading. I'm going to pick another card for you. Because I don't feel that's quite it. I feel like I need to pick another card for you. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think this card fell out for you last time, New Life. So I think, keeping in mind both the cards now, I think you'll be taking action towards your new life. Because in your last month's reading, if I remember correctly, you did get this card, Aries, a new life. And I think this started for you in the month of June. Perhaps the new moon solar eclipse on June 10th was that powerful new beginning for you, was a powerful new life showing up for you. And I think this month, there's a lot of yang energy, there's a lot of action being taken towards that new life. That makes more sense to me now, honestly. So that's all I leave you with, and do hit the subscribe button if you like this reading. I will see you guys next time. Bye.